Hey guys, it's me, Vasavi, and today I'm going to be talking about whether or not you can still be a dick if you're self-aware. So, if you consider yourself a self-aware person, is it possible to still be a dick? And the thing is, no. The answer to that is no, because when you're self-aware, you're mindful, you're intentional, you take full responsibility and accountability for your emotions and your experience. You don't take anything personally, and you're constantly looking to improve yourself rather than change other people. The thing is, people that I've come across that I would say are absolute dicks are usually people that aren't aware of their own emotions, and so they're always taking everything personally, or they definitely talk more than they listen. They have a really hard time asking for feedback because they take it so personally, and they're not really aware of their blind spots. So what are your emotional blind spots? So let's just say you get cut off in traffic, right? And you immediately feel angry and you're like, and you're on your way to work and you're like, oh my God, I hate everybody. This person sucks. And you flip them off and you're totally justified in your mind to cut somebody off, to flip somebody the bird. And you're like, well, they cut me off. A self-aware person will stop and be like, listen, I'm just freaking out because I'm going to be late to work right now and I'm taking my anger out on that person. What do I need to do differently next time? Oh, maybe I need to leave work earlier. Maybe I need to take a different route. Maybe I need to make the ride to work a little bit more enjoyable so I'm not heated all the time. And if somebody does cut me off, okay, I get a little annoyed, but I don't flip them off over it, right? So when you're aware of your emotions and you're aware of the underlying issues that are going on, there's no way that you can be a dick to other people because you're taking responsibility for how you're experiencing certain things. And other people aren't the problem anymore. You are the problem. You are the problem and you are the solution. All the chaos that you're experiencing and the people that you want to blame for things, it's so easy to get caught up in, well, I'm feeling this way because you did that. No one can make you feel any sort of way. My dad always used to say this. I was dating this one guy and I said, he brings the worst out in me. And my dad would be like, maybe you need to address that part of you that's the worst, because then you're not giving that control over to somebody else. You're more aware of what's going on inside of you and why that person seems to have so much control over you. So when you're self-aware, you can't be a dick because you're so conscious of what's going on inside of you, and you're taking the time to be really curious about your own thoughts and about your own experience. And the more you do that, the more you learn to manage your own thoughts. Have you ever been talking to someone and they just say something completely like out of the blue and you're like, that was kind of whatever? It's probably because they're not aware of what's going on. They're not aware of their own emotions. They're not aware of their own thoughts. And so they're just in reactionary mode, right? Like, you say something, so they respond back. So they're much more reactive than they are thoughtful, mindful, intentional, and proactive as to what they're bringing to the conversation. So first rule of thumb, if you're on your spiritual journey, your personal growth journey, your self-aware journey, and you're like, I don't understand, why is everyone around me such a dick? Don't expect everyone else to be on the same journey with you and as you, because not everyone's on this journey. And if you're on this path where you're really trying to understand yourself, you cannot expect everyone else to be on that same path with you. You may be having aha moments and light bulb moments about yourself. Don't expect everyone else to be on that level because they're not. If you're really trying to better yourself and you're trying to show up in a way that's a lot more light and a lot more free, keep doing what you're doing, but do not expect everyone else to be on that same page as you. So let's go back to some of the things that self-aware people do differently. They're mindful, okay? They're mindful. They're mindful of the words that they speak. They're mindful of the thoughts that they're thinking. They're mindful of the actions that they're taking or not taking. And they're not blaming anyone. They're like, I noticed that I react like this when my mother talks like this to me. It's just being more mindful, and you're in a less reactionary mode. You're not at the effect of things happening, right? You are now in control of how you respond to a situation, because shit's gonna happen, shit's gonna hit the fan, we're gonna have a pandemic, we're having a pandemic, things are going on, and you're like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? The only thing you have control over is how you respond to things. So if you really want to not be miserable and not suffer, the best thing that you can do is be mindful of how you're reacting to a situation and start to become curious and not judgmental about how you respond to certain situations. Number 2, being intentional, right? Every word that comes out of your mouth, Think before you speak, right? Think before you talk. That's something that we've learned when we were kids. Think before you speak. This is not about being manipulative with your words. It's not being sneaky with your words. It's just about asking yourself, if I say it this way, how, like, is this coming from a place that is aligned with my values? Do I want to show up this way? And if you think that you're justified in talking shit to people and being a dick to another person, that really says a lot more about you than it does about the other person. There is absolutely no justification whatsoever for you to tear somebody down, say mean shit to them, and say, well, they said it like this, so I'm going to respond this way. Well, then that means you have absolutely no control over your words. And then who's the weak one? You are, because you've just allowed somebody to completely change how you respond to things. And ultimately, when you're a dick to somebody else, you're not going to feel good about yourself. You can justify it all you want, but I know that you know better. And I know that you don't want to be a dick, so don't be a dick. Third thing is they take full responsibility and accountability for their emotions and their experience. Anytime I'm feeling some sort of way, if someone says something to me and I'm immediately like, whoa, like, where did that come from? And I immediately want to respond, I stop. I literally stop. And I say to myself, what's really going on here? What am I really experiencing? What is underneath that anger? What is underneath that anxiety? What is underneath that fear? When you take full responsibility for your emotions, it doesn't become about the other person. It's not about the other person anymore. It's about you and how you're experiencing things. And then you get to decide how you want to respond moving forward. But it's not about the other person. It's about you. Anyone can talk to me any sort of way, and I refuse to give my emotional chain over to somebody else so that they can yank it. I'm in control, and you are in control over your emotions. And if you have a difficult time managing your emotions, maybe you need to seek some help. Maybe you need to talk to a therapist about what's really going on. Maybe you need to work on your mindset. Not even maybe, you absolutely need to. If you feel like you're constantly in reactionary, defensive, and just completely just clawing at other people because you don't have any handle over your emotions, it is not about the other person because you're the one having the reaction, so you're the one that you need to focus on. Number 4, they don't take anything personally. I now know this after many years of doing a lot of work on myself is that nothing that anybody says to me is personal. At the time, it feels personal. If someone talks to me in some sort of way, or if I don't get a response, or someone blows up at me, I used to think that I did something wrong. And there is a fine line between taking responsibility for how you showed up in a situation, and there's another difference with, okay, this is their reaction that they're having. What did I do, right? What did I do? And you can look at, could you have said things differently? Maybe yes. Could you have responded differently? Yes. But you don't take anything personally because you realize that everyone, including you, is having their own emotion, is having their own experience, and is reacting based on how they feel on the inside. So you don't take anything, like nothing personally. If you're going through a drive-through and a woman you feel like, or the woman or the guy at the checkout, you feel like it's giving you an attitude, you don't know what the hell's going on in their life. It's not about you. They can't even see you, so it's not about you. It's never about you. The only thing that is about you is you and how you're experiencing things. That's the only thing that you can focus on and have control over. And lastly, they are constantly looking to try to improve themselves rather than change others. When you are self-aware and when you are trying to become more self-aware, it's called self-awareness for a reason. It is about you. You're not trying to put your experience on other people, try to change other people, make them better, because then you just become really naggy and controlling and annoying. So it's not about trying to change other people. The only person that you have control over is yourself. So can you be self-aware and still be a dick? No, because when you are self-aware, you are in control of your emotions. You are in control of how you respond to those emotions. You are in control of how you respond and how you react and how you speak to other people. And most importantly, you are fully responsible for how you show up. And when you're fully responsible for how you show up, there's no room for dickage. So I hope this helps.